Hi, good morning, Tigers. It's really great to see you today. I'm looking forward to continuing our work with functional writing. The last time we were together, we talked about how functional writing is a type of nonfiction writing that really explains how to do something. And we call it functional because it's probably the type of writing that adults use the most. I use it when I make grocery lists. I use it when I follow a recipe or create a recipe for a loved one. If I try to explain how to do something or I need to write down those instructions, that's a type of functional writing. So it's an extremely useful kind of writing. Today, I'm going to read an example of functional writing to you. And at the same time, we're also going to talk about the author's purpose or why the author wrote what they wrote. And we're also going to talk a little bit about how the author has to keep a particular audience in mind when they consider who they're writing to. So let's go ahead and get started. I have on your screen a how-to piece, and this is called How to Be a Good Friend, and I'm going to read through it with you so you can get an idea of what a how-to piece could sound like. This might be something that you want to model your own writing after. So this is called How to Be a Good Friend. True friendships are very important. They make us much happier. It's not easy to be a good friend, though. Here are 9 rules to help. Number 1, keep your promises. If you say you'll hang out with a friend, don't change your mind. If you say you'll do a friend a favor, be sure to do it. It's okay to back out of things every once in a while, but do not make it a regular thing. Your friend won't trust you anymore if that happens too often. Being honest and loyal. Number 2, say you're sorry if you do something wrong. Don't act as if you're perfect. If you've done something wrong, admit it. You should really mean it when you say sorry. Number 3, talk about your feelings. If something is upsetting you, don't be afraid to talk about it. Tell your friend how you feel. Number 4, this is a good one. Don't gossip. If your friend tells you a secret, don't tell anyone else. Also, don't spread stories about your friend. That part that says, if your friend tells you a secret, don't tell anyone else. There are a couple exceptions to this rule. And one of them is if your friend says something about how someone could be hurting them or if they're in trouble. As a good friend, that would mean you need to bring an adult into the situation to help them. So in that case, secrets are okay to tell if you tell an adult. Let's keep reading. Helping your friends. Be a good listener. Ooh. Don't do all the talking. Listen carefully to what your friend has to say. Let your friend know you care what he or she thinks. Number 6, be there when they need you. If your friend is in the hospital, visit. If your friend's dog runs away, help find it. Let your friends see they can count on you. If they're true friends, you'll be able to count on them too. Number 7, give your friend some space. Your friend won't always want to be with you. You should accept that. Let your friend be alone sometimes. Also, don't worry if your friends have lots of other friends. It doesn't mean they don't care about you. Number 8, learn to forgive. You should be able to forgive your friends if they do something that hurts you. First, let them know how you feel. If your friends are sorry for what they did, you should forgive them. Everyone makes mistakes. That's a good one. And the last one says stay in touch. If your friends move away, be sure to stay in touch. Write them or call them. They will be very happy to hear from you. And I know that goes for friends right now too. It always feels good when I hear from a friend. All right, so let's do a little bit of thinking. This was a how-to piece about how to be a good friend. And the author looks like wrote a little introduction and then listed some reasons. And it was pretty easy to see their reasons because they listed them 1 through 9 and they highlighted that reason or made it bold. Interesting. All right, what I want you writers to do is to get out your writer's notebook. I'm going to attempt to change screens. All right. So now you should be looking at writing good directions. And this is what we need to think about. I'm going to have you open up to your ideas section in your notebook that you started on Wednesday. And right next to that, you're going to write a heading called Writing Good Directions. And these are going to be some things that we need to remember as we start our how-to pieces. The first one that we need to remember is who is the audience that we're writing for. So I'm going to add that. Who is the audience we are writing for? So if I'm writing a piece on how to ride a bike, I might have children as my audience. And if I have children as my audience, it might be a great idea to have lots of pictures or maybe even videos or really easy, simple steps to follow. If I'm writing about a more complex topic and my audience is a group of adults, then maybe I can give a little bit more complicated directions at one time. So it's something to consider. Who is the audience we are writing for? Another important idea is what is the author's purpose in writing these directions? So I want you to write these things down. If you need to pause the video to write them down, feel free to do so. I'll have this one down in a second. What is the author's purpose in writing the directions? So every author has a purpose. We've talked about author's purpose in reading also. But in writing, why am I writing this? Am I writing it to help a student learn or give them information about something? So keep that in mind, what your purpose is. These are two things that help us focus our writing. Today, I'm going to have you pick one of the ideas from your ideas section, and you're going to start writing about it. And you are going to write for 15 minutes today. So make sure you set a timer, either on your Garmin or at the front stove at your house, or maybe mom or dad has a phone with them. Something where you can set your timer for 15 minutes, and you are going to write about the topic of your choice. Remember, it should be a how-to, something that you know how to do. And you can either write it in a Google document titled with your name, or you can choose to write it in your writer's notebook, whatever is easier for you. If you write it with a Google Doc, that would be great, and I can give you some feedback. If you write it in a writer's notebook, make sure that you use that same writer's notebook for the next couple of weeks so you can keep your information there. I look forward to hearing and seeing your work. Remember, today we talked about the audience, keeping the audience in mind, who we're writing for, and keep in mind the author's purpose for writing the directions too. Have a great day, Tigers.